So we're at this conference, and yeah, so Tyler, also known as Gami TCG, he decided to visit us at the Westgate. There's a procurement conference, like one of those non-governmental organization type things, and they have me wear this silly little sash.
They make it easy to find at least.
Little celebration and whatnot. So yeah, great to mix business and hobby, right? Westgate, isn't the Nationals gonna be here?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So it's nice to scope it out for.
Yeah, it's just such a small world. You know, I'm brought here by a conference in what is it, June? I don't even know what month it is. June, but I'll probably be back here. Hopefully, you'll be back here in August, right? You plan to play?
Yeah, I live like 25 minutes north of here.
Oh, so, awesome.
Yeah, me and the whole Vegas crowd will be here.
Oh, there's a Vegas flesh and blood crowd.
Yeah, we got a solid player base of, I'd say like 20 like very entrenched players, and then probably 10 to 15 more that are just like come and go depending on events and what we're hosting. But the scene's not massive, but the quality of player that we have here is there's a lot of like world caliber.
I mean, world caliber. This is a place where there's a lot of card games being played, right?
Yeah,
a lot of the best poker pros and whatnot. And I hear that there's a little bit of overlap between being a good poker player in terms of bluffing and understanding your cards and cards and whatnot, and flesh and blood, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what else brings us together? I didn't know you were a Patreon in the beginning, right?
No, I don't think so. Pretty much what happened was this submission we have here was already interacting back to me. It posed a lot of questions for me, and I wanted to bounce some ideas off of you pretty much.
Sure.
With this submission in particular. More of focusing on like the difficulty it is to get higher quality grades in this game. I was wondering if you had some insight into some of the more vintage cards, your WTRs, your ARCs, and like a rough percentage of like how much you would say is grade worthy out of a pack, and how you think that affects this hobby compared to ones say like Weiss, where everything's perfect.
Everything's perfect, yes, in Weiss. You're absolutely correct.
What you thought about that.
I would say that WTR and ARC, as well as Crew First Wave, are very, very difficult. They're close to the ratio of gradability as the oldest of the old vintage Magic cards, because there were roller lines, there were centering issues, there were misprints. There's always the corners. The corners, especially on the foils, that ratio, that is even tougher to grade than what was always considered in Magic the Gathering to be the toughest, like high risk, high reward type of grading, which is like 7th edition foils. Those things are super delicate, but Flesh and Blood, especially WTR Alpha and Arcane First, those foils are just the worst. And also, even in Crucible War grading, Crucible First Wave and Crucible Second Wave are different.
Cold foil in the back.
Right? Yes, the cold foil on the very last card, where you're dealing with all of that edge friction, you're dealing with that plastic hitting the very last card, versus the third to last card in Wave 2, which was, shout out to Legend Story Studios, that was a smart move. That made a huge difference, like day and night in terms of gradability. But no matter what, even Crew First Edition Second Wave is really tough to grade. So, I mean, it's tough to grade all around, and the product is scarce as is, but that's what makes that chase even more, exciting.
That's exactly what I was about to get at, is I find, like, if this game was like Weiss, where, you get a 9-5, you're disappointed, I think that would kind of kill a little bit of the chase, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, we're in exact agreement. Yeah, even Magic the Gathering from revised back, like those first 4 or 5 sets, ABU, Arabian, Antiquities, there is no guaranteed 9-5s. I would say, fresh out of the pack, maybe you're looking at 20-25% of the cards on a good day, on perfect handling, and it's a box fresh pack coming out 95 or better. And Flesh and Blood, the vintage Flesh and Blood, even more so.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, you've got like the Japanese printing of outsiders, and you're not grading any of that.
Yeah.
Like you're grading 0 out of 10,000 cards.
Yes.
You know, but the Belgian printing of outsiders seems significantly better. I haven't gotten to grading that yet. And probably I'd suggest to the viewers out there to grade PCG for the really, really new stuff. But haven't gotten into it, but the cards look really high quality. So they're improving their print quality, which is great for the game, great for collectors.
Yeah. I haven't had too much experience grading the more expensive stuff. That's why I wanted to pick your brain about it a little bit. But I have graded a lot of the cheaper stuff or lower end cards. Like, it's just stuff you can get more quantity of to have more of a sample size.
Yeah.
And I've definitely found that things like Crucible Unlimited, I actually haven't really touched much with the Tails Unlimited, that, and it's a little bit here too, the WTR Unlimited.
Yeah.
The print quality of those from Japan are really, really high.
Yep.
While the other Japanese prints are just not the same.
For whatever reason,
Yeah,
it's strange.
I don't know
It
why.
seems to go like hit or miss, printing to printing. And what I was getting at, how we actually interacted first was, I think you had 2 slabs, 2 quads that were on eBay.
Yeah.
And then I reached out, and then one of the quads got sold, and I was like, oh man, I would have bought like a whole bunch. And they're like, wait a minute, you're Saint from FaBled Hunters. And I was like, oh, yeah, why? And you're like, oh, well, I'm your Patreon. And I'm like, oh crap, well, thanks for being a Patreon, and let's do future deals.
Yeah.
And here we have it. Even before you, even before you receive the cards, we already, in principle, talked about getting a deal together, and here we have it. Here are the actual assets, right?
Yes, that's actually something I wanted to touch on too, if you're willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
How would you price some of the items in this box? Just because some of them, like, they just plain don't exist. And just to pick your brain for people that are going to go to you for future deals, to give you a more realistic number.
Okay.
Like just a general idea while you walk through it.
Sure. I would say the really high-end, really expensive cards, like the $1,000 plus cards, as well as the $100 and lower cards, have a different scale to them. But best practice is, I would say like a solid 9.5, we're talking BGS 9.5, has a premium of normally like 1.5, 1.5x. But once a card becomes like $3 or $5 or $10,000, then that needs to decrease because it's a lot of money, right? The card's already expensive in its own right, and instead of, if it was a $100 card being a $50 premium, a $10,000 card would be a $5,000 premium. So it might be closer to like $3,500 premium for a 9.5. And then the smaller stuff, the really, really small stuff, $5, $10, $15, $25. Then the multiples go higher because, look, you went through the trouble, you got it like graded, there's also a failure rate. Then maybe it can go up to 2 or 2.25x. But then the quads, I have what I like to pay for quads, but then I don't think even the general flesh and blood collector market has recognized the scarcity of quads. So people aren't willing to pay that, and I'm like, if you guys aren't willing to pay that, I'll accumulate quads all day. And then on the 10 side, you've got the pie-in-the-sky people that are like, oh, well, I have a BGS 10 of any old card. It's worth 500x now, or 200x now. And I'm like, you know what? On a good day, I think a BGS 10 is worth like 5x premium. But I'm saying premium, you're already incorporating like a $20, $25, $30, $35 grading fee in there, and then multiplying the near mint value plus the grading fee, multiply that together in parentheses times 5x, so to speak. But yeah, then again, you go into like a higher dollar card, like even right now, Snapdragon Scalers is about to go on sale on eBay.
I was wondering if you were watching that auction too.
I'm looking at that. It'll release well after. I'm going to bid probably not 5x or something like that. I'll bid maybe a little more, just because it's very rare. But I'm not going to go up to 10 or 20x. If there's somebody that wants it that badly, they can have it. Even for BGS 10 cold foils in like the No Rune suite, or like the Hardened Cross Strap, or like the Hope Merchant's Hood. I've purchased those. Those I've gotten for, call it $800 to $1,000, where after you added the grading fee plus a multiplier, it's not 5x, because those cards are like $300 base or $250 base. So you see, after the card value, the base card value goes up, then the multiple has to go down.
Makes sense. I won't keep you waiting any longer if you want.
Sure. No, it's great to talk about this stuff, and you want to go through your box, just make sure the label doesn't get...
That's my old address anyway.
Okay.
And it's covered up by the redirect.
Okay.
But yeah, this is I just have them directly in the order they came from Beckett. Alright, right from the top.
It's right from the top. Here is a 9.5 Lady Barthelmont. So we're here with a 9.5 Lady Barthelmont. It's got 10 centering and edges, cool card. A quad plus Valda Bright Axe. But a card like this, you know, it's just a promo card, it's not very valuable, but you know, whatever, $30, $40, $50, $60, something like that, because these promos were printed well, there's a lot being printed. So something like this would be on that low end, you know?
These next two I actually opened myself, and I'm the only box of the set that I've ever opened. So.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So this
that was a very scary one.
Best of the first fist. 9.5. Here you go. Here's a nice card. Gold label, arcane, cold foil.
That one came from the last pack of that box. Maybe slept through it.
Yes. This is where we centered the deal off of. This is the most valuable card in there. There's 3 in the world: Command and Conquer, BCS 10, and this is the newest and the third of the 3. So yeah, I wonder where the other 2 are.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's just one full playset out there now.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, on that note, I'll just give you these 3 all at once.
We've got a Silver Palms 9.5, Dreadbore 9.5. See, there are people grading Everfest out there, right? Skull Crushers and Quad, cool card.
Those 3 actually, because I opened around like a dozen cases or so. Those were really the only things that I thought had solid 9.5 chance out of that whole opening. So.
And you were right.
Yeah, I was definitely ready for these ones, but that's like a pretty low percentage of all your Majestics
exactly.
from the set as well.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of the cold foils, yeah.
So we got these 2, and I added a little.
We got Levias, a couple of quad Levias there. Our 1 quad and 1 9.5, basic plus. Yep. So really cool. Cold foil heroes are always awesome.
I got this one, and I'm gonna also have the card that got me to never buy Magic again. I thought it'd be good to put that in your hands.
Why the Wall of Heat?
That was my one big pull from Dominaria United with your Lost Legends.
Oh really? Lost Legends.
That was the one pull from my case.
It's a common, I believe. It's off-centered, so I wouldn't grade this. But yeah. Oh, there's also a 10 Rainbow Foil Levia. That's really cool. Cool print quality, really high quality card. And Man Sant might kill for this. I don't know.
Last card.
And the last card. See, this is big. This is probably the Japanese printing of Unlimited, right? Japanese printing of Unlimited. BGS 10 Scabskin Leathers. That is a really awesome card. It's always great to see a 10, but see something like this just won't have that crazy premium because it's also a reprint, right?
Yeah.
And you actually gave me a pretty good rate of exchange on valuation on all this. So, well, let me give you your side of the deal first. This was straight across.
It's awesome. Cold foil tectonic plating, knocking off one more from my 9.5 alpha set.
Yes, alpha tectonic plating, BGS 9.5. I mean,
awesome.
Not that I don't appreciate, I love all these assets. I was very lucky to have an extra tectonic plating. But truth be told, I would say something like that will increase in long-term value in the next year to 3 years or 5 years faster than this. But I was very fortunate to have that already, and that was an extra. So it's a good trade where both sides win.
Yeah, and I was thinking on top of it too, instead of just going straight for cash, I assume your cost basis to a card like this would be closer in range of my cost basis for something like this. And we both get to inflate our collections without having to spend the extra money.
A monetary transaction, back and forth, paper trail. Well, absolutely. And actually, I want to say that For some of the assets, I think the Levia cold foils, you had a very generous valuation as well as the best of the first fist. You provided a very generous valuation to me. Just in good faith, I wanted to hit you up with an additional like $200 so you can get some grading fees for your next batch.
I appreciate it. That's great.
So Tyler, it's been a great transaction. I'd love to do things like this, especially with Patreons. That's what the Flesh and Blood community is all about.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see each other at Nats.
Yeah,
all right.
I'll be here. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the time.
Yeah.
You want to plug your YouTube channel?
Yeah, Gami TCG, and also if you go on there, have a link to my eBay store as well. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll put that link below.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Thanks.
guys. Bye for now.